When I watch a show like MasterChef and I see somebody running around and they've got improper footwear on, they're running around, like a chicken with their head cut off to get in the fridge and grab their produce and come back. Watching it as a chef, you get nervous. I think those are the things that in the kitchen is really important to reinforce with younger people is just slow down. That extra 4 seconds getting from the fridge to your station is really not going to make that much of a difference.
Always put up warning signs on wet floors. Spills should be mopped as soon as possible, and all floors should be cleaned regularly according to a schedule.
If you don't take the time to clean up a spill, the things that could happen from that spill become much, much bigger than the minute or 2 minutes it's going to take you to get a wet floor sign down, get a towel, mop, whatever it happens to be, call someone else to come give you a hand with the situation.
Kitchen staff should wear well-fitting, non-slip footwear.
Everybody that's new to the kitchen should have, as part of their uniform, shoes that have oil-resistant anti-skid.
It's not just slipping and falling that's going to hurt you in a kitchen. It's the things that you're carrying or the things that are around you that are going to hurt even more.
A clean kitchen where you aren't likely to trip over something or misplace something or find a sharp object under a haphazardly placed item is a much safer kitchen to work in.
One thing we always really focus is do one job, finish it, and then clean up and then set up for the next task.
Keep walkways and aisles clear of boxes and other clutter. Blind corners are a serious hazard in kitchens.
Corner.
Always announce your presence as you approach one.
We call corner before we round blind corners, no matter if we are carrying or not carrying anything or if we're pushing a cart or not. It's like a double safety thing because if you're not looking at the mirror, at least you can hear.
Avoid standing in front of swinging doors and doorways.
In a small kitchen, it's up to you as the chef or as the people that are putting the kitchen together to make sure that the workflow is structured in such a way that you don't have a lot of places to go.
Due to changes in temperature, areas around and inside walk-in freezers can become wet and slippery from condensation.
Taking the time to do things safely and properly. If you're going to try and speed things up, that's when I typically hurt myself. I think most people are the same way.
Remember, no matter how busy you are, don't run while working in a kitchen. When carrying large items, always make sure you can see where you're going.
For a cook, besides your knife, your back is probably the most important tool that you're going to have.
That one moment where you pick up that 80-pound whatever and you pull something in your back, that could be the rest of your career.
A healthy back is critical for a long career in the kitchen. Follow these steps for lifting any load. Get close to the object and test the weight. Bend your knees with a neutral back posture and get a good grip.
The legs have the strongest muscles in the body, so getting good position and securing the item and then lifting it with your legs.
Pivot with your feet. Don't twist your back. Lift the object smoothly and slowly, keeping it close to your body. Empty garbage containers before they become completely full. This reduces the weight, making the bag easier to lift and tie without any garbage falling on the floor.
Kitchens are notorious for having limited space. Making sure that things are stored as appropriately as you can, so you're putting the heavy things when you're storing them down low, you're not putting the heavy things up high.
Lifting heavy things that are coming down over your head. If you don't know how heavy that thing is and it comes down on your neck or your head, it's not going to be good.
Organize the kitchen so heavy items are stored at waist level. Keep the load between your knees and shoulders. Use dollies or carts whenever possible. And don't hesitate to get help from others when lifting a heavy load.
You got to take care of your body because this is how you make your money. Don't burn out and don't feel like you need to do everything on your own. Just get help.
Don't be a hero. You're gonna want your back when you're 50 years old. An injury today potentially can stay with you for a very long time.
It's going to ensure you have a long and prosperous career, so making sure that you have a healthy back is essential.
Avoid lifting or carrying items that are slippery, too hot, or unevenly balanced.
Knife usage, cuts, that's probably one of the most common accidents we see in a kitchen. It's making sure that you're trained properly with a knife.
Using a knife is a skill. You can learn, but someone has to show you.
Before working with a knife, set up your workstation. Use a clean, damp cloth to secure your cutting board on the counter.
Making sure you've got a good stance. I was always trained to, make sure you're well positioned in front of the board, so your feet are shoulder width apart and you've got a good stance.
Store knives in a proper knife rack, block, or knife bag.
A sharp knife is a safe knife. A dull knife will slip off of food and then slip into your finger. Maintaining knife sharpness is very, very important.
When storing knives in a knife bag, use knife guards. Most knife accidents are a result of using a dull knife or the wrong knife for the job.
In addition to having a great education about how to use a knife, how to appropriately grasp the item in the opposite hand, your fingers curled back so that your knife blade is against your knuckles and not your fingertips, because peeling a knuckle is generally less bad than chopping off your fingertip.
Hold the knife with your dominant hand. With your other hand, hold the item tightly, curling your fingers inward so your knuckles protrude. Always cut away from your body when trimming or deboning.
If you're in the middle of doing something, you've got a sharp knife in your hand and you're doing some work chopping something, and somebody comes in and starts talking to you, just stop what you're doing for a second, have the conversation, and then continue what you're doing.
If you get distracted or interrupted while using a knife, put it down. Don't use a knife unless you can focus on the task. Always place knives with the blade facing away from you. If you have to carry a knife to another station, hold it close to your side with the blade facing down. Bend your elbow so the knife isn't so low that it could stab your calf as you walk. Always announce when you're moving with a knife.
Definitely point down at your side if you're just carrying the single knife, and making sure that the people around you are aware that you're moving a sharp object near them by either letting them know behind or that you're sharp and behind them.
Clean knives immediately after using them, or place them in a labeled container near the sink. Don't put knives in the dishwasher. Wear cut-resistant gloves whenever you can. And don't use a knife as a substitute for another tool.
Meat slicer is one of those tools that's really important in the kitchen, but is also an area where it has the potential for the most damage when it comes to injuries.
We do a lot of slicing at Mom's Grilled Cheese Truck. I order the cheese, and the meat whole. So we slice a lot. And before anyone's ever given a shift on that slicer, we go over that thing with a fine-tooth comb.
Meat slicers can be very dangerous. Don't use one unless you've been trained and feel comfortable with its operation.
A little bit of fear is a good thing. I always tell people when they're working with any piece of equipment, a little bit of respect for the machinery and the equipment and the speed it moves is really important.
The blade guard must be in a secured position before using the slicer. Use the meat grip to keep your hands away from the blade. When operating the slicer, always give it your full attention.
The important things are that you've got the proper guards in place and you're using the proper guides for the food so that as you're slicing, you never have the potential of getting too close to where the blade of the slicer is when it's operating.
Don't remove the meat from the machine until the cutting wheel comes to a complete stop. When you're not using the slicer, set the blade adjustment to 0.
The most dangerous thing about a slicer is cleaning a slicer.
Doesn't matter if you're in a low end or at a high end. If you're using it and you're done using it, you're responsible for cleaning it.
Before cleaning, unplug the machine and set the blade adjustment to 0.
Unplug your meat slicer and 0 your blade.
Just turning it off doesn't do enough because you could bump the switch while you were cleaning it.
Always wear Kevlar gloves when cleaning a meat slicer.
In the old days, they used to be made out of metal, but now they're Kevlar. They're actually quite a lot more comfortable.
Carefully wash the blade by wiping outward from the center of the blade. And always maintain a sharp blade on the slicer.
It's just ensuring that people know how to use the equipment and that they're being smart about it.
Unplug the meat slicer when it's not in use. Before plugging the slicer back into the outlet, make sure the switch is in the off position.
A labor supply firm placed a young worker as a general laborer at this rebar manufacturing facility. A few weeks later, the young worker was assigned to a new job as a forklift assistant. Using this forklift, he assisted a forklift operator to load and unload rebar. To do their duties, forklift assistants rode on the side of forklifts. The employer allowed this dangerous practice, which was contrary to regulatory requirements and to the manufacturer's instructions. The forklift's doors could be latched to stay open. Inside the door was a handle the workers could hold on to while riding on the forklift. Traveling through the yard, the young worker rode on the forklift. As the forklift turned, the worker fell off and was run over. Another worker yelled at the operator to stop. Unfortunately, the young worker sustained serious injuries. The Occupational Health and Safety Regulation states that the operator of mobile equipment is the only worker permitted to ride the equipment. There are some exceptions, but they all involve requirements to protect the extra rider, such as having a safely located and securely mounted seat for them. Many safety issues were found at this workplace. These include: the employer did not have a joint health and safety committee for the worksite, as required. A joint committee can identify and help resolve safety issues. The forklift manufacturer's instructions were not followed. They stated not to transport passengers outside the cab. The employer did not ensure that there was adequate training in forklift operation. Forklift operators must be trained to the CSA standard specified in the regulation. The training covers the safe operation of a forklift, which includes instruction on workplace-specific hazards. The employer failed to provide the required young or new worker orientation and training to the young worker when he became a forklift assistant. Since his workplace hazards changed, he once again became a new worker and should have been given orientation and training specific to the new position. Riding as a passenger on a forklift can expose workers to dangers such as falling off, being struck by objects, or being crushed between the forklift and another object. Employers, protect your workers by allowing only the operator to ride a forklift.
Every forklift has a designated weight capacity displayed on a placard that is visible from the operator's platform. Exceeding that weight capacity can be extremely dangerous. If you're unsure of the weight of the load that you're about to carry, test the stability of your machine by lifting the cargo slightly off the ground and moving your forklift a short distance and then applying the brakes. If the back end of the forklift starts to come off the ground, or your steering is less responsive than normal, your cargo is likely too heavy and should not be moved. Keep your cargo as low to the ground as possible, centered on the forks, and as close to the mast as possible. By doing so, you can avoid tipping forward. You may find it easier to get underneath the cargo with your forks tilted down a little. Once the load is on the forks, tilt the mast back when possible to keep the load from sliding off. Drive in that tilted back position until you get to the area where you plan to unload. A basic inspection of your forklift at the beginning of every shift is essential. Regular inspections can prevent breakdowns and surprises. Ideally, an inspection is written and includes some kind of checklist. Consider using an app to easily create records. A paper trail of maintenance procedures can help minimize liability if someone gets hurt. But if that's not feasible or in alignment with policies at your workplace, at least do a thorough visual inspection before each shift. Here are some things you might look for. Is there oil or liquid underneath the machine indicating a leak? Are hard tires in good shape, or are they cracked, worn, or damaged? Are pneumatic tires properly inflated? Are lug nuts in place and tight? Are lights functioning properly? Is the fuel tank secure with no signs of leaking? Do you have fuel in the machine? Are hydraulic hoses in good shape and not frayed or leaking? Always conduct this check visually. Never touch hydraulic hoses that may be under pressure. The hoses can have sharp, frayed wires. The oil can be hot, and in extreme cases, a pinhole leak in the hose can cause oil to shoot out under high pressure and inject under your skin, causing severe injury. Are the forks in good shape, not cracked, bent, or otherwise damaged? Are they set how you'll need them to be for the job you're about to perform? Are the chains in good condition, with no sign of missing pins or bolts? Is the operator's manual and weight capacity placard in place and readable? If there is a fire extinguisher on the forklift, is it ready to be used? Is the seat belt extending, retracting, and latching properly? Is it damaged? Once you get on the machine and fire it up, are the brakes holding and stopping as they should? Does the steering function as it should? How about the tilt and lift functions for the forks?
Stop and ask yourself, does everything feel right, sound right, and smell right? If not, stop and investigate or tell your supervisor. There's never a job so important that it's worth using a machine that isn't functioning properly and might be unsafe. Damaged or malfunctioning equipment should be tagged out according to your employer's lockout-tagout procedures.
Safety precautions for hot work. Assess the specific risks and plan accordingly for each hot work task. Always obtain a valid permit from an authorized person before starting any hot work. Use flame or heat-resistant gloves, clothing, face shields, and respirators if needed. Do hot work only in designated or specially prepared safe zones. Cover floor drains, ducts, and wall or ceiling penetrations to stop spark travel. Isolate and lock out any electrical or mechanical systems nearby. Have the right type of fire extinguisher, class ABC or CO2, ready within reach. Designate a trained fire watch for the entire operation and for at least 30 minutes afterward. Remove or protect all combustibles within a 10 meter, 35 feet radius using shields or fire blankets. Use fans or fume extractors to remove hazardous gases and maintain air quality. Inspect and test gas connections, hoses, and valves for leaks before starting. Be trained on alarm systems, emergency exits, and fire response protocols. Hot work may look routine, but one spark can change everything. Safety precaution for lifting operation. Conduct a pre-lift inspection. Check the crane, slings, hooks, and rigging gear for any damage or defects. Verify the load weight. Never exceed the crane's rated capacity. Know the weight before lifting. Inspect the ground conditions. Ensure the ground or platform is stable and level to support crane operations. Use proper rigging techniques. Ensure slings and shackles are correctly chosen, secured, and tensioned. Ensure qualified personnel operate the crane. Establish a lift plan. Review lifting methods, load weight, path, swing radius, and communication. Stay clear of the load path. No personnel should be under or near the suspended load at any time. Use proper signaling and communication. Use standard hand signals or radios. Designate a signal person. Check for overhead hazards. Never leave a load suspended. Always lower the load when unattended or during breaks. No jerking or rapid swinging. Operate smoothly and steadily. Monitor wind and weather conditions. Avoid crane operation in high winds, lightning, or extreme weather. Use taglines when needed. Control the load's swing and rotation with taglines for safety. Keep unauthorized personnel away. Clearly mark the lifting zone and keep bystanders outside the danger area. Remember, every lift, no matter how routine, carries risks. Always assess the load, use the right equipment, and follow procedures. Your safety and the safety of those around you depends on your actions. Safety precautions for electrical safety. Electricity is powerful. Respect it, handle it wisely, and protect lives. One small mistake can lead to a big accident. Turn off power at the main source and use lockout, tagout procedures before starting any electrical work. Always use tools with proper insulation and safety ratings for electrical tasks. Use rubber gloves, safety glasses, insulated boots, and arc-rated clothing when required. Use a voltage tester or live line detector to ensure there is no live current before touching any wire or component. Respect all danger signs, warning labels, and access restrictions around electrical panels and equipment. Avoid working with electricity near wet surfaces or with wet hands. Do not plug too many devices into a single outlet or use extension cords improperly. All equipment should be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Look for wear, fraying, or exposed wires and replace faulty items immediately. Ensure these protective devices are in place and functioning to prevent overcurrent. Only qualified electricians should handle electrical maintenance and repairs. Keep unauthorized personnel away from high voltage zones and equipment. Clear labeling ensures easy identification and safe maintenance. Know how to respond to electric shocks, burns, and fires, including CPR. Before using power tools, check to make sure it is safe to use. Electrical safety isn't optional, it's life-saving. Think before you act. Your safety is in your hands.